Okay, so we'll start here with our first problem. So we're going to start with 1.03 meters, and we want to convert that into inches. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go, because I don't know the conversion from meters directly to inches, I'm going to go from meters to centimeters. So we put meters on the bottom, centimeters on the top, so we get rid of meters and turn it into centimeters. And I know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. And then the next step is to go now from centimeters to inches, and I know that there are 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. Centimeters cancels out, and what I am left with is my answer here in inches, which is 40.56 inches, just multiplying across. Moving on to the next one here, I'm going to start with 2,700 millimeters, and I want to get that into kilometers. Once again, if you do know the conversion directly from millimeters to kilometers, it happens to be a million, you could do that directly. However, what I'm going to do is go through the base unit. And I'm going to go through it using what I think is the easiest way, the way that will work every single time. And that is to know that that prefix milli means 10 to the negative third. So 1 millimeter is 1 times 10 to the negative third. You could also say that there are 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. That would also be correct. Next then, I'm going to go from meters to kilometers using that same idea. That prefix kilo means 10 to the positive third now. So you can see on the bottom here I wrote milli, on the top I wrote 10 to the negative third, on the bottom here I wrote 10 to the positive third, on the top I wrote kilo because they have that same meaning. They are equivalent. So 1 kilometer is 1 times 10 to the third, or 1,000 meters. I've now canceled out my meters and I've converted from millimeters to kilometers, and I get an answer here. Multiplying across the top, dividing by the numbers on the bottom, I get an answer of 0.0027 kilometers. Moving on to problem 3 here, similar idea as the last time. We're simply using those metric prefixes, which are listed on the data table to the right of these problems. So I'm going to start with 1.4 kilograms. And just like the last time, I'm going to go through that base unit, okay, which in this case is grams. And I'm going to remember once again that kilo prefix means 10 to the third. So 1 kilogram is 1 times 10 to the third grams. And now I've gone from kilograms to grams. The next step then is going to be to go from grams to our new unit. That is the Greek letter mu. It means micro, so we're going from grams to micrograms, okay? And I know that 1 microgram is 1 times 10 to the negative 6th grams. That's the meaning of that micro prefix there, okay? And so again, I multiply across the top all these numbers, okay? And then I'm going to divide by the numbers on the bottom, and I am left with an answer of 1.4 times 10 to the 9th micrograms is 1 kilogram, or 1.4 kilograms. Okay, for our next one here, number 4, we're going to have 1.5 cubic miles, and we want to convert that into cubic meters. So I'm going to start first by not thinking about the conversion from cubic miles to cubic meters, but simply by thinking about the conversion from miles to meters. And those of you that run track should know that 1 mile is 1,609 meters. It's also on your conversion sheet. But that would be how I get from miles to meters. However, we have to consider that if we're thinking about a cubic mile, okay, that's going to be 1,609 meters by 1,609 meters by 1,609 meters, which is going to be more than 1,609 meters total. So what we have to do is, if we want to change this to be a conversion from cubic miles to cubic meters, and the units are cubed, we need to also cube our conversion factors. Obviously, cubing 1 doesn't do anything, but cubing the 1,609 does. We're going to multiply across the top yet again, and we're going to get an answer here of 6.248 times 10 to the 9th cubic meters. Moving on to our next one, we're starting here with 4 grams per cubic centimeter. This is the first one we have here that has multiple units that we're going to need to convert. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take it one at a time. So I'm first going to take those grams and I'm going to convert them to kilograms. Okay. Again, using that method we talked about before, that 1 kilogram is 1 times 10 to the third. That's the meaning of that prefix, grams. Okay, so now we've gone from grams to kilograms. That one's taken care of. We now need to go from centimeters or cubic centimeters to liters. So I'm going to start here not by going directly to liters, but by going from cubic centimeters to milliliters. And conveniently, 1 cubic centimeter happens to be 1 milliliter. Some of you might have jumped right to the final conversion. But you can take that intermediate step. Notice I'm putting cubic centimeters on top here because in our original unit it was on the bottom, and we want that to cancel. Okay. Once I have that, I'm then going to convert from milliliters to liters, and I know that 1 milliliter, okay, is 1 times 10 to the negative third liters, or 1,000 liters, but again, I always like using that method. We cancel out our milliliters, multiply on the top, so 4 times 1 divided by 1 times 10 to the third divided by 1 times 10 to the negative third, and we actually find in this case that 4 grams per cubic centimeter happens to also be 4 kilograms per liter. Just happens to work out that way for this problem. Moving on to our next one, we have 2 units yet again, but just like before, we're going to take it one at a time. So we're going to start with 1.03 Newton meters, which is a real unit. It's a unit of torque. And we're first going to convert the newtons. All right, so we have on our conversion chart 4.45 newtons, which is a unit of force. We'll talk about that later, is the equivalent of 1 pound, also a unit of force. So now we've gone from Newton meters to pound meters. We now want to convert from meters to feet. There is no direct conversion listed on your chart there. However, a nice little trick you can do to go directly from meters to feet is look at the fact that 1 mile is 1,609 meters. 1 mile is also 5,280 feet. So those two are equivalent. 1,609 meters is equal to 5,280 feet. Nothing says that one of those numbers has to be 1. I'm putting meters on the bottom here because in our original it was on top. So we're going to multiply across the top, divide by the numbers on the bottom, and we are left here with an answer of 0.76 pound feet. Okay, for our last one here, we have some made-up units, but that's quite all right. We're just going to take it one at a time like we did before. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert from widgets, and I'm just going to abbreviate it, WID, to smidgens. Okay, and we see the conversion factor there is that 1 widget is 3.5 smidgens. Next, we need to convert that minutes to seconds, so I'm going to have minutes on the top here, seconds on the bottom, and I know that 1 minute is 60 seconds, so now I've converted from minutes to seconds. I don't need to worry about the zips here because it zips in both the original and in the end. So we're going to multiply this out and we get an answer of 0.35 smidgen zips per second.